Hello, everybody, and welcome to another daily chat with Andy, the Cabby, live from the garage once again. I had to scarper out to my car earlier because there was a certain young man that decided to play football in the back garden when I wanted to do some recording. And of course, what happened? Bang, crash, wallop, poof. It's a bit like what happens at the Tory leadership debates. You're there in your stride and you hear a loud crash in front of you. Wonder what's going on. I do, of course, refer to the Ms. McCann, who was running proceedings, and I do hope she's okay. I hear that she was taken to hospital. I hope she's not injured. I mean, Ian Dale fell off a stage the other day as well, didn't he, on the way out? And he's got a nice shiner on his arm. He was showing off on Twitter. What is it with these people? They don't mind their step. I don't know what's going on, but all joking and all jesting apart, I hope everyone is okay. Anyway, hello to everybody. First of all, as Julie Baldwin's first pointed out, can we have some likes? Thumbs up, please. Very powerful. Let's get them up and running straight away. And that's excellent. I noticed that we're seeing some of the regular names already. Julie Baldwin, Trevor Fuller, Tyrone Whitehead, Handy Andy. There's always a handy Andy in the house, even if that one isn't. This one is. Julie Keys, hello to you. Alan Pape, good evening from Chester. Dave, hello to you. Who else we got here? Yeah, happy birthday to Mick Jagger. How old is he now? 186? He's bloody good for his age, isn't he? Julie Baldwin, I know, thanks. I just can't stand politicians telling and expecting us to believe them. Yeah, this is what this is all about in this political campaign, isn't it? Alan makes the point right there straight away. I just can't stand politicians telling lies and expecting us to believe them. It's the same old twaddle, isn't it? And the same old sound bites every time. And they expect us to swallow their bullshit. Well, I don't anymore. And I'll be surprised if other people do as well. Hello, John Harris. Good to see you. Jeff Bridges. Yes, I agree with the sentiment. Exactly. Yes, the best thing to do with a TV licence, Julie Baldwin, is throw it out of the nearest window, followed by the direct debit it comes with. Absolutely disgusting waste of time. Hello, M. Perry. Good to see you. Hope you are well. I see lots of you commented on some of the videos up to date. There's a real doozy coming out at 9 o'clock about a police officer. And I kind of sniggered when I saw it, and I thought I'd bring it to you. But it does underline the seriousness of the mentality of some of the people we've got in the plot today. It's, yeah, you'll see what I mean at 9 o'clock. Check it out. And, we'll go there. She's fine is the latest. She just fainted. Right. Okay. Well, that's something. At least she's okay. I mean, it can't be easy sometimes doing these things and, expecting to perform, and you may come over feeling a bit funny or something, and bang. I mean, you should have seen the look on Liz Truss's face. She was like, obviously startled her, and it looked like she went over to help. Which was quite credible, I have to say. Hi, Andy and everyone. The host of the debate fainted. She's okay now. That's M. Perry. Yes, that is good to know. Good to know indeed. Did anyone start watching the leadership debate on Talk TV? Apparently, tonight was better than last night. I don't know. You let me know what you think. There's another thing I want to mention about Talk TV, Piers Morgan Uncensored in a little while as well. And something I find very peculiar indeed, but we'll see what you think later on. I'm watching the football, and here there's Trevor Fuller. It's probably best people playing with balls rather than talking a load of balls, I suppose. Let's have a look. I think we've got everybody. Hello, Alan Edge. Good to see you. Sabir Starmer confronted again, this time in Liverpool. Okay, I must have missed that one. I'll have to look that up. There's probably some mileage in mentioning that, definitely. but probably didn't need to hear what the person had to say like last time, and you know how that ended. Alan Edge or open the box. How about both? Yeah. Hello, Deborah Hart. Good to see you. UK debate on Talk TV goes off air as Kate McCann collapses live in front of Truss and Sunak. Yeah, but she's okay, which is the main thing. Hi, Alan Pate. Greetings. That's Julie Keys again. Good to see you. Yeah, I think that's got everybody. Everybody has been said hello to. Oh, apart from Mick Hardstaff. He sneaked in. What time did this start? I thought it was 2010. It did start at 2010, Mick. Well, probably 2009, to be honest. I thought I'd be like a minute early. You know, nothing like being prompt. Nothing like being prompt. So I thought I'd come out and do that. Anna Perkins, hello to you. Very uncomfortable night, but you'll survive. Well, I hope you will. And I hope you're okay. Sharon Shooter, hello to you. Good to see you too. And Lucinda Sweden as well. I have one foot here and the other in Britain. Yes. Okay. Well, everyone's got a foot in somewhere, haven't they? As long as it's not in a... Yes. See who else we got. Yeah, I think that's hello to everybody. Right. Let's get down to it, shall we? What do you think? What do you think of this whole charade? Hmm? The two candidates we have, hi Jerry, good to see you. The two candidates we have, in my view, are wholly and utterly predictable. In this massive field of candidates we had, and let's face it, they all wanted a piece of the pie. We are whittled down to two establishment cronies, is what I'd call them. And you see them coming on and saying the same things. You know, we will stop the dinghy divers. We will work on the economy. We will, I don't know, stop Boris from having a job. We, you know, it's all sound bites. What credible plan is there? What credible answer is there to the problems this country is facing? I remember when Ms. Mordaunt was, you know, up for it. They were going on about bloody transgender identification. How's that going to pay my fucking electricity bill at the end of the month? This is real world issues facing real world problems. It's not great, not great. And you know, either one of these get in, I'll be honest, I think Sunak will be the one that will get in. I just get this feeling that's preordained. If I'm wrong, I will come on live and eat something, you know, smelly and hot just to pay penance. But that's what I think will happen. But if you look at the track record of the guy, all of the money that got thrown good after bad at furlough schemes, self-employment support schemes and all of that, and he wants to be trusted to run the economy. No, we are in the shit. To be quite honest, and a lot of it is the doing of a certain individual who is buying for the top job, and it doesn't impress me at all. And then you look at Lady Truss, Liz Truss. Is she any better? Is she part of the establishment? Is she a career politician that knows the right things to say at the right time? I genuinely think, you know, they are. I mean, I caught a soundbite earlier before I came out here. Again, this is what it all is, sound bites. And they were talking about, you know, holding Vladimir Putin to account and not allowing him to stampede across the whole of the former Soviet bloc and fuck them all over. And I think to myself, well, how does that answer some of the problems we all experience in this country? It's let's go and be best friends with her. And I will segue into that in a little while, because there's something, as I said, does not make any sense to me whatsoever. What I will do now is we'll see what the media answer and media reaction is to this. But before I do, this is the Daily Chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. It's so good to see everybody in the chat. Welcome to all of you that are watching us so far. If you haven't done so already, hit the thumbs up button for me. Or if you're watching on Facebook, hello to you, and give us a like on Facebook. That's good. I always see the little thumbs up there when people come in on Facebook, which is something good. If you are new here, as well, and you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to Andy the Cabby. I want to give a quick shout out to all of the channel members as well. Those are the ones in the green font and the little emblem next to them, and those are the ones that pay a tiny minuscule contribution to the channel of £1 a month, if you choose to do so. All of that is appreciated. All of the regular subscribers are appreciated, and you're all appreciated for everything you do and everything you contribute. I'll have a quick look through what people are saying, and then I'll have a look at the news. I'm holding the entire British Parliament. I can never say his name right. Xi Jinping, Joe Biden, and Vladimir Putin to account. They've got a lot to answer for. Well, them and previous governments, I think, Cosmic. Really. Mark, it was a pleasure. I loved those cartoons. I thought they were brilliant. I showed them to my wife, and her immediate reaction was, God, they're so clever. And, you know, really brilliant. I did enjoy them. So thank you for taking the effort to send them to me. And one might even look good on a T-shirt, which is something I've still got to get round to doing. I've caught up with, you know, business and everything now, so I can concentrate on this a bit. Facebook is a corrupt left-wing organisation. Can't sign up with them. Yeah, there was a conversation about this the other day. It was Bill Cannon, police off the cuff. He did a show about the shark attacks that were happening in New York. You know, perfectly innocent show, nothing really wrong with it. And he got demonetized. Fancy that. And even Facebook got the ump, and he got slung in Facebook jail, all because of a show about sharks. And there's some very much more extremist type material out there, probably more left leaning than anything else. That seems to be all right. Mark Keane, I came off Facebook years ago. Well, Facebook, we know what it's morphing into. I know what it was originally meant for all those years ago, for bloody college dormitory types to keep in touch with each other. I use it primarily for business and keeping in touch with family, where we can, you know, swap messages and pictures and stuff. It's useful for that, but don't disappear too far down the rabbit hole. Otherwise, you'll get called out. Hello, Patricia Shaw. Good to see you. Graham the Baron Hecketh. I blame the voters. They should all have stayed at home in protest. Yeah, I question, Graham, what's worth voting for anymore. I really don't think there is any point in voting. But the problem is, if we all stayed at home and voted, what would happen? Would that be a hung parliament? And I take you back to 2010 with Cameron and Clegg with the coalition. They come up with that, and they try to claim that's what the British people wanted by not voting. So, you know, if we all stayed at home and didn't vote, is it more of that same old bullshit, I wonder? You have to ask yourself the question. Graham the Baron, wasn't me. I hate the Tories. I came off Face 8 years ago. Too many nosy Parkers. Yeah, my favourite is where you get people taking pictures of car number plates thinking they're clever. And I usually go, who took that picture? Was it you, the driver? That soon shuts them up, silly little lefties. Where are we? Yeah, Okay, great cartoons. Lucinda, a nice little fella. What's his name? Cameron. Oh, God, don't get me started with that. Well, yes, let's turn our attention to the press, shall we? And see what they have to say. Well, according to the press, and this is today, I'm assuming this is going by last night, it's saying Liz Truss performed better. I don't know what people think of that, but let's see. It was according to a Tory members poll. She performed best during last night's debate. Now, this article is dated today, Tuesday, so we're going back to last night. Obviously, it could have shifted. This was according to a YouGov poll of 507 Tory party members. YouGov? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Again, very establishment kind of thing. Ms. Truss faced off against Rishi Sunak as the pair battled it out to become the next Conservative Party leader and therefore the Prime Minister. The poll asked Tory members, leaving aside your own preference for leader, who do you think performed best overall in tonight's debate? A total of 50% of replies voted for Ms. Truss, while 39 opted for Mr. Sunak. 10% said don't know. Pardon my maths, but there's still about 1% that probably didn't do anything. Ms. Truss and Mr. Sunak hit out at each other's economic plans as the blue-on-blue attacks continued during the pair's first head-to-head TV showdown. It's very Americanized, isn't it? They do that with the presidents. Former Chancellor Mr. Sunak claimed there is nothing conservative about Ms. Truss's approach, and it would give the party absolutely no chance of winning the next election. Well, I'm reading, Mr. Sunak, there's not anything very conservative about yours either. I think you'd do good with a red tie. Foreign Secretary Ms. Truss, in turn, suggested her rival would lead the country into a recession. I don't think we're very far off that, to be honest with you. Ms. Truss said she would put an economic growth plan in place immediately if she becomes Prime Minister, along with imposing a temporary moratorium on the green energy levy. Never mind temporary moratorium, dear. Get rid of the fucking thing. It's more trouble than it's worth. And as for an economic growth plan, what economic growth plan? What exactly do you propose to do? Don't tell us what we think we want to hear. You tell us exactly, costed detail, what you're going to do, and then maybe we might be onto something. But yet again, it's sound bites and bullshit. The increase in national insurance would be reversed, Ms. Truss said. I mean, this is all key points trying to pander to a conservative audience, isn't it, really? Mr. Sunak said he would like to make sure that his government always has policies in place to support through the cost of living crisis. Is that more furlough money, I wonder? Let's all stay indoors. Ms. Truss said her plans would see the government start paying down the debt in 3 years' time, with Mr. Sunak countering, you've promised over 40 billion of unfunded tax cuts, 40 billion more borrowing. That is the country's credit card, and it's our children and grandchildren. Everyone here's kids will pick up that tab, and it will go on for years. Well, somebody was quite happy about spending on the company credit card at the time, and I think my great-grandchildren will be paying for it, let alone my kids. I don't know what you guys think of this. There's nothing conservative about it. Ms. Truss later said in the BBC debate, no other country is putting up taxes at the moment. The OECD has described Rich's policies as contradictory. What does contradictory mean? It means it will lead to a recession. We know what happens when there's a recession. I grew up in Paisley and Leeds in the 80s and the 90s. I grew up in Margate. I know what it's like when people have to struggle, when you have high unemployment and people don't have work to go to. We can't allow this to happen. Mr. Sunak spoke over Ms. Truss and warned inflation was a problem in the 80s and it's a problem we have now. I'll give him that. He's right. Adding, we need to get a grip on it. If we don't do that now, it's going to cost all of you and everybody watching at home far more in the long run. Liz, your plans, your own economic advisor has said that will lead to a mortgage interest rates going up to 7%. Can you imagine what that's going to do for everyone here and everyone watching. That's thousands of pounds on their mortgage bill. It's going to tip millions of people into misery, and it's going to mean we have absolutely no chance of winning the next election either. Ms Truss highlighted Mr Sunak wants to raise corporation tax this autumn at a time of global economic crisis. She later said this Chancellor has raised taxes to the highest rate in 70 years, and we're now predicted a recession. The truth is in the figures. Well, I think Sunak's contradicted himself because he's complaining about high interest rates, for mortgage holders if she gets in. But then if you're going to tackle the inflation, one of the things that you have to look at is the interest rate, and inevitably it has to go up, therefore affecting mortgage holders. So I think they're both pissing in the wind, hoping that the general public are going to swallow some bullshit or other from either one of them. It's crazy. The real deal, Farage for PM. Yes, I appreciate the sentiment there. The whole entire system is stone broke. It doesn't work anymore. I go back years and years and years. You had a party for the working person, and you had a party full of rich university-educated toffs who didn't really have any idea how we all lived, worked, breathed, and everything else. Now you roll forward to present day, you have two parties full of rich, educated university toffs, most of which are multimillionaires, and none of them have got a fucking clue, let's face it. So what chance have we got? The whole system is broken. And why we have to sit there and be spoon-fed by this crap for much longer, I don't know. I'd love to see the viewing figures on these debates, by the way. I really would. Speaking of viewers, welcome everybody to the Daily Chats with Andy the Gabby Cabby. I hope you're doing all right, everybody. Welcome tonight. It's good to see you all. A lot of my regulars and a couple of names I don't recognise. It's great. If you haven't done so already, can I ask that you hit the like button, give the thumbs up a bash on the live chat. That will help us on our way, help the algorithm grow the channel. We're doing very well, actually. We're getting near, I think, 30,800 subscribers now. We're only about 20 or 30 away from that landmark. And I noticed we've actually got something like 5.5 million views on the channel as well. So I'm quite pleased about that also. And that's all down to you and your support, really, which I appreciate very much indeed. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, let's have a look and see what people are saying. More and more economy is getting broken. What a perfect opportunity to offer a solution of the big reset. Probably planned. I think you're right there, Anna Perkins, especially when you get cost of living payments dumped into your account. They're kind of, testing the water, piloting a couple of things, aren't they? Makes you wonder. Mark Hampson, hello to you. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Great to have you in the chat. Tony V, the EU is clueless. Yep, like most of them. I wonder if the French, sorry, I nearly said something nasty then, Reddit, has convinced Britain to join Schengen yet. Yeah, likely story. They're just trying to wind us up. Jerry Georgopoulos, it's reported that it's unlikely that a new budget will be presented until late November or even early December in the UK. I will put an emergency plan on the table as soon as we get into office. More bullshit. And unfortunately, a great deal of people will swallow it. I think the banks will buy up properties. That's JB. Does that come under the auspices of you will own nothing and be happy, I wonder? They don't raise savers' interest rates, do they? No, I mean, that's been piss poor for ages. I'll tell you what, Dave, you talk about that. When my kids were younger, when Jack was born, basically, I opened up a couple of kids' trust funds. Lewis, my eldest, has had his because he's come of age, and they were about 6% at the time. They weren't bad. And I've been saving a bit every month. And when you get closer to this time, of course, the interest rates are rock bottom, absolutely awful. I mean, I said to Lewis about possibly moving it, and I said with such little time left to his 18th birthday, and how crap the rates are everywhere else, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. So we just sat it out, took what we could. Oh, that water's going down well, and it's staying cold today. Why are we spending $1 billion on securing Ukrainian borders and fuck all on securing our own? Very good point, Mick. Very good point. That you know we want to be everybody else's friend and not worrying two shits about our own country. It's still going on and has done for years, hasn't it? It's totally unacceptable in my book. None of them, both WEF, illegal. Yeah, I've seen the. I mean, also, have you seen all these people on there going ready for Richie and blowing smoke up his arse? I mean, one person that springs to mind is Matt Hancock. I've seen several occurrences of him basically endorsing Rishi Sunak, and you think, oh, poor bastard. But then you wonder if there might be some plum cabinet position there ready for when Rishi moves into number 10 and his comeback will then be complete. But what you don't realise is, guys, us Joe Public have a very, very long memory on all this sort of thing. It's not great. Not great. And it just shows you the calibre of what's there now. It's why Bouncy Castle is so expensive. Oh yeah, Bouncy Castle, why it's so expensive. Inflation. Love it. At least with any recession, and we never join the euro, we do have some extra measures at our disposal, unlike the SME countries and now Germany, who are in trouble. Yeah. And, where they're reliant on outside influences like Putin's gas, for example, it's not good. Putin is right. A tactical nuke in the middle of London. That's a joke, by the way. Yeah. Well, his media cronies, his people that do all the gobbing off and the shouty have mentioned that a few times, haven't they? About that possibility. I mean, if he did that, there would be one in the middle of Moscow shortly thereafter. So it's unthinkable. It really is unthinkable. Tony V, why does the Conservative Tory party support the far left BBC media company with government money? I've always thought that, Tony, because I've seen the BBC as a government mouthpiece or a mouthpiece for the system of government. But they are so to the left and they're so biased. You wonder why are they being used in that fashion? I mean, I could go on about the BBC all day long, how I don't believe they're fit for purpose anymore. And you do wonder what you say are to Her Majesty's government and why do they keep getting protected over and over and over again. I mean, I will mention it quickly. There's this trial in Nottingham, Alex Belfield. We all know the situation there, what he's accused of, and I sat and listened to the court transcripts very, very carefully every day when they're released, and you listen to the mentality of some of these BBC cronies, and you think, how the fuck have they managed to survive and stay on for as long as they have? Particularly when you get all the philanderings and the back and forwards. Why do we put up with this? They need defunding, very much so, very much. Apparently, we need a bigger army. The politicians put more people out of jobs. That means more cannon fodder for the politicians' wars. Yeah. Millionaires, look out for millionaires. That's right, Handy Andy. They don't like spending their money either. I grew up in Hungerford. We shoot people there. I like it, Mark King. At least everybody knows where they stand. Wooden and posh. is what we have left. That's right, Tyrone. Last thing Britain needs now is Boris back, Bethany says. Well, funny that. There's a load of stuff about Boris as well. I mean, who believes that Boris was stitched up? Give me a 1 if you think he was stitched up, or give me a 2 if you think he you know, he's in the right place, out the door. 1 if he was stitched up, and 2 if you think it had to happen. Yeah, load of 1s coming in, and you think exactly the same as I do. Now, I'm going to be very, very controversial right now. If he was stitched up, do you think one of the people responsible for this was on the television tonight and last night in a leadership debate? Give me a 1 if you think that's the truth. Oh, Cosmic Wartoad, you know, he did bring it on himself, a lot of it. I'll give you that. But it's the way that was weaponized, I think, by the rest of the party. And, you know, a lot of people are saying the same thing that I'm thinking. I'm not mentioning the name. I don't want it picked up by the algorithm, but you all know where I'm coming from. It's my party, and I'll lie if I want to. Mark, exactly. It's a case of better the devil you. Yeah, I always said that if Boris went, who would replace him? And we've got a very stark choice of the 2 Muppets we've got now, vying for the top dog position, or that lefty Muppet Starmer. And he sat there. I mean, you talk about wooden. He sat there in front of the car. I had laid out my plan for the. I can't even get the nasal back of the throat to it. Fucking boring bastard. He really is. But, you know, again, more sound bites. And I see old Diane Abacus has been out of a tree today as well, having a go at him also. It's his hero, Winston Churchill, got chucked in the river and does nothing. Larry the cat. Yeah. There was a funny thing with Larry the cat. There was a video being recorded, and Larry decided to go and help himself to a bloody pigeon outside Downing Street. Oh, for fuck's sake, Larry, not now. That was quite good. Boris being stitched up. So was Mrs. May. Truss got her knickers from she couldn't own the front and back. Oh God, nice one, Alan. The construct was there by the one who needed the test. I mean, you know, we all know that one of the people was on the telly last night, and the other one, he has a bald head and sometimes wears a beanie and goes by the name of Dominic. And I find it amazing. 2.5 years ago, he was, how should we say it, completely untrustworthy and the pariah. And now it suits the agenda. Come on, let's, you know, everything's out there. I mean, that sucked in my view. It really did suck. But yes, there's a couple of bits that have come up about Boris. So let's have a look, shall we? Seven. Right. Boris Johnson won't have a role in the next government, Tory leadership contenders say. Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss have ruled out giving Boris Johnson a role in government if they succeed him as Prime Minister. Well, I don't think that would work out very well now, would it? Foreign Secretary Miss Truss says she believes Mr. Johnson needs a well-earned break before eventually saying he will not be part of her top team. Former Chancellor Mr. Sunak was more direct in stating Mr. Johnson would not be involved. Well, he probably wouldn't want to be involved in any lesser capacity than he has been in. Their comments came during the head-to-head Tory leadership debate on the BBC. Asked if Mr. Johnson would be given a role in the cabinet, Miss Truss replied, having spent time with him this week on foreign affairs, I very, very much suspect that he would not want a future role in the government. I think he needs a well-earned break from what has been a very difficult few years. Well, it has been, hasn't it? Let's be truthful. After all, he was seriously ill with COVID. We haven't even talked about that, and that was a terrible moment when we didn't know what was going to happen. He was faced real challenges that no leader would have expected to face. The appalling war in Ukraine. There's that again. I'll mention something about that at the end. So I simply don't think this is really an option. She added, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think what's done is done. The party has made the decision. I've told you my views of that. I've now put myself forward as a candidate. Press further, Miss Truss said, I'm sure he will have a role. I'm sure he will be vocal, but he will not be part of the government. Mr. Sunak, the simpler answer from me is no. I think we need to look forward. That's why I want to be Prime Minister. The pair also asked to rate Mr. Johnson's time in office out of 10. What's Boris's performance got to do on their future? Miss Truss gave Mr. Johnson a 7, while Mr. Sunak said, my views are clear. When he was great, he was great. And it got to a point where we needed to move forward in delivering a solution to Brexit and winning an election. That's a 10 out of 10. You've got to give the guy credit for that. No one else could probably have done it. And the debate came after a petition started by Lord Truss and David Campbell Bannerman to add Mr. Johnson to the leadership vote, past 10,000 signatures at the weekend. Yes, that's rumbling around in the background, isn't it? Yes, there is a campaign going on. Basically, bring back Boris. It's taken the form of a petition saying that they want to put him on the leadership ballot, which of course is a load of old bollocks, and it's never going to happen in a month of Sundays. But here we go. Conservative campaigners are hoping that the petition to vote on Boris Johnson's resignation could force the party to take action. Exactly what kind of action? Mr. Johnson resigned as Conservative Party leader earlier this month, following mounting pressure from Tory politicians. But now more than 10,000 Tory members have already signed a petition on whether Mr. Johnson's resignation should be accepted. The petition was organised by Tory peer Lord Truss, I think that's how you say his name, and former MEP David Campbell Bannerman. Mr. Johnson is said to have met with Lord Truss on Friday, with the pair reportedly discussing the Bring Back Boris campaign for a second vote among the party's grassroots. Speaking on GB News about whether the campaign could lead to anything more formal, the Daily Telegraph, Mr. Hope said, it's a bit of theatre, but the hope is from the campaigners that if enough people sign it, it could force the party to take some action. Do a confirmatory vote in whether Boris Johnson should stand down as leader. I think that that's unlikely, but that's the idea behind all of this that has been set up. It wasn't to have a third name on the ballot, i.e. you choose between Truss or Sunak or Johnson. It was simply a confirmation vote as to whether he should be allowed to carry on or not. Well, I think that ship has sailed, personally. I think that's already been decided, don't you? Of course, had his poll been granted, and if members had voted to keep Johnson, it would have caused chaos in Westminster because MPs have decided he can't be their leader. And quite where the party went from then, who knows? So it's probably for the best that it falls away, as it may well do now. As I said, that ship has sailed. It comes as Miss Truss and Mr. Sunak continue to battle it out to become the next Tory party leader. The next Prime Minister is set to be announced on September the 5th, unless, of course, some dirty little background deal is done before that point. We will see. But yes, there is a certain underpinning of, bring back Boris, but it's never going to happen. Desmond Swain should be the leader. Yeah, Dave, did you see on Twitter? He's a get ready for Rishi guy. He was backing him up entirely. Went to the chemist today to buy some Viagra. I said to the lady, can you get it over the counter? She said yes with the 500 million. Yes, it's a bit like one where I left a Viagra tablet in my shirt pocket, put it through the washing machine. It's still stiff 2 weeks later. Yeah, I get it. Why did Liz Truss stare at the orange juice container? It said concentrate on the label. Wouldn't think he has a chance. No, definitely not, Lucinda. Definitely not. That ship has sailed. Ghislaine Maxwell has been moved to a low security prison. Yeah, I heard about that. Unbelievable. And listen, folks, this is the daily chat with Andy, the Gabby Cabby. Welcome, everybody. If you've only just joined us, please give us a thumbs up. If you've been here for a while, you haven't done so already, please give us a thumbs up. It's been purely political tonight, really, talking about what was going on last night. I think it was relevant, and I think we need to have a sound off about it, and we have done just that, and we've all been nattering about it in the background there. As I said, there's a video coming out at 9 o'clock, about 10 minutes from now, something to do with the police, which I couldn't quite believe when I looked at it, to be honest. But the last thing I want to talk about briefly for about five minutes, I suppose, just to wrap things up. Piers Morgan. The reason I mentioned Piers Morgan is, where is he right now? Ukraine. Yeah, that place where the entire Western world is obsessed with sending millions of pounds, millions of dollars, military hardware galore, and training their soldiers to fight an apparent aggressor. You would think, judging by the mainstream media, the whole place is in ruins, the whole place is a war zone, and you wouldn't risk your neck going there. We saw weeks ago, Boris went there and walked down the streets of Kiev, however you pronounce it these days, in his whistle and flute without a care in the world, and he looked like he could have been walking down a street in London. Well, Piers Morgan is now in Ukraine, interviewing the president of Ukraine, interviewing the Klitschko brothers, and standing in the open air with a whistle and flute for a photo opportunity. No flak jackets, no anything, no shelling, no war. What the fuck is going on? Something just doesn't ring true to me with that whole situation. And again, it's a case of, you look at how the media is portraying things. Is it a case of this part of Ukraine is absolutely fine, and then over here the Russians are having a right old field day? Is that what's going on? But the way it sounds like it, it's everything everywhere, but I don't necessarily think it is. You make your own determination on that. I mean, this is one of the things we can't diss too much on YouTube or disagree with, because I get the arsehole about it. But it's got to be said, what is going on? Because if there really was a war of that measure, would somebody like Mr. Morgan go over there? I just don't get it. Anyway, I think that's enough for one evening. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. It's been great to have you here again. My love and appreciation to all of you for your support, your contributions, all the positive comments. Thank you for hitting the like button. By the way, do that right now if you haven't done so already, and make sure you subscribe as well if you haven't done so. Also, look out for that video at 9 o'clock about the old bill. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but I did take the piss a bit. And I will be back tomorrow with some more content for you, and another live stream. Now, with the live stream at the moment, I'm not sure whether it'll be exactly 8:10, because I will be coming back from the airport, and then I've got to drop my minibus down at the garage for a service. So depending on daylight conditions and all that, it may just be a walk up here with me. We'll have to see how that one goes, but I'll work it all out tomorrow. But for now, take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Toodaloo.